Everything is holy now. The one thing that I don't want you to miss is that there was a transformation that happened in the mind of the writer of the song, where something occurred where he was looking at everything from a sacred perspective. So everything's not going to be holy unless you're looking for it, unless that is your intention. And if everything is conflict and everything is separate and everything is challenging, everything is difficult, I hate to say it, but that's your perspective. Oh, you think it just happens to you, don't you? You think that things are just happening outside and then you witness it. It's not that way. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. Everything in the manifest realm begins in consciousness. Now we've cut ourselves off from unity consciousness. There's no question about that. And in that realm where we're cut off from unity consciousness, we do experience challenges and separation and violence and war and division and all those other symptoms of our mistaken belief that we are separate. They're just symptoms. We've got to go to the cause if we want it to change. The cause is our own thinking, our own beliefs, and our own actions. Individual actions. You are more powerful than you can imagine. You are so much more powerful, and you are so much more than you think you are, that you've been led to believe. You are a powerful spiritual being. And I'm here to remind you that that's the way to peace, is to remembering who you are. There's a proven method and a clear spiritual direction given us to all those who are pursuing peace and happiness. And it's the one way we tend to overlook. The one guarantee of our success. If we want peace, we have to give it. We have to strive to relieve the suffering of others. I listened to our friend James Kirshner, who was our speaker last week. I went back and watched him on YouTube, which you can see all of our messages on YouTube. But the one thing that I have always taken into my heart about the Buddhist path is that it is in alignment with what I learned as the path of Christ. Christ within me, not just within Jesus, to Christ in me. The path of Christ is to relieve the suffering of others. If we truly desire to be free from suffering ourselves, we have to relieve the suffering of others. Why? Because we're all one. We're all one. Even in the physical realm, we're sharing the same atoms and molecules. They're not stuck in your body and stuck in this lectern or stuck in that chair. The molecules and atoms are freely moving around all the time. So the atoms that were once in your body are now in mine. That's how close we are, even physically. But when you get to the level of consciousness, we are one simultaneously. It doesn't take time for the atoms and all of that to move from one place to another. We're all in the same place at the same time. Oh my goodness. That's unity consciousness. We are all everywhere, all the time. And not only that, we are everyone. Boy, this is getting a little tricky now. I've got to treat my neighbor exactly how I want to be treated. You know, the golden rule wasn't just some fun thing that my mom used to tell me to get me to be kind to my brothers. To treat my friends well. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. My mom used to use that so I wouldn't beat up my friends. Or my brothers wouldn't beat me up. Do unto others because they are you. Love your neighbor as yourself because your neighbor is yourself. Boy, we don't like that. We like to protect our individual separate identity and then compare it to yours. And that's the cause of all of our suffering in the world. Is that somehow there are certain people who are more deserving, who have more privilege than others. It's just not true. We're all equal and we all deserve the same love. And the only way that I'm going to experience that love is to give it to you, is to share it. The only way I'm going to experience my peace and keep it is to give it away. If we want to achieve true freedom and prosperity, which is richness of life in this moment, not accumulation of things and numbers on a piece of paper, how many billions I have in the bank, but true prosperity is the feeling that I am full of the spirit of love and peace right now. It's filling me up. It's in me now. I am abundantly blessed. I don't need anything to have that feeling. I've been all over the world. I taught a course in miracles in several countries around the world and spent a lot of time with some of the poorest, I won't say poorest, I would say people with the less accumulation of material wealth. And they were some of the happiest, most loving people, welcoming, sharing people I could ever meet. Because their value was in the relationship they had with you, not with their accumulation of material wealth. And I have to say, those were some of the best times of my life. So since we're all connected and we're all one with everything, everywhere, all the time, whatever's happening to anyone, anywhere, is happening to us. Wow. Can't cut yourself off from what's going on in the world. But there must be a way that I can bring a positive effect to what's going on in the world. There has to be a way. It's through consciousness. It's through prayer. Is not just, please God, help those people over there in that other country. It's, I am giving my peace to you now. I am sharing my peace with you now. There's a divine essence of spirit in the middle of this, whatever it looks like. And if I can't be there physically and physically help, I can do it spiritually. And I must. Rather than continually bashing the causes of it, which are just the symptoms, they're not the actual cause. I can actually go to the cause, which is my mistaken sense of separation, and demonstrate our oneness. And miracles happen. They are everywhere. Everything is holy now. Everything's a miracle. Everything. Because that's my dedication, that's my aim, that's my intention, to bring a miracle or to be aware of the miracle that's available in this moment. So, why we never truly find peace is this: we're not offering it to everyone. But as soon as we do, now I remember. I have to offer peace in this moment. You know, when it seems really dark, when your world or the world out there seems really dark, it's because you were sent there to be the light. Spirit's just saying, it's your time. It's your turn. You can't ignore this. You were sent here to be the light. You are the light of the world. If I just ignore it, maybe it will go away. No, I am here to be the light and to demonstrate peace in this moment. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Show up as the peaceful, loving, powerful being that you are and watch it change. You don't even have to do anything physically except show up as the light of the world. Yeah, get it. When you're at home, do you practice you're the light of the world? Come on! Or do you watch TV and let the TV tell you who you are? Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how happy I am that I take at least 15 minutes a day to meditate. And we'll talk a little bit more about what I'm meditating on in a minute. But you know, a 4-year-old child can tell you that you cannot find peace through war. It just makes perfect sense. You're not going to find peace through war. We have to divest completely in the mechanisms of war. I'm not going to get into I'm not a political activist. I'm a spiritual activist. So I'm not going to get into what I think you should do in the physical realm. But I am going to stress that we have to go to the cause of the problem spiritually and address that within ourselves each and every day. And how happy and peaceful you will feel when you do it. No longer are you going to let what's going on in the world affect your peace. You're going to allow your peace to affect the world. Does that make sense? Okay. So, as a 4-year-old child, I could figure this out. That we're not going to find peace by attacking each other. The path of peace is simple. To find peace within by whatever means possible. Find that peace within yourself and bring it to the world. We're evolving. We're expanding in our consciousness. And this is a universal truth. This is an irrefutable spiritual reality that we are evolving and that we can allow our children to evolve. Because it's the one thing that human beings seem to be resisting the most is their evolution to peace. And I always do, it's inevitable. There's nothing you can do to stop peace because that is our natural state. Conflict and war is not. And so it's easy. Conflict and war is hard. It's difficult. You have to put a lot of money and effort into it. You have to put a lot of money and effort into keep people hating one another. If you just stop for a moment and divest from that and love one another and teach only love and don't participate in the conflict and teach that we are one and not separate, watch your world and the whole world change. Believe me, it is changing. And we are transforming by the growing movement of our shared spiritual awakening. We're seeing a powerful transformation. And I want every one of you to be part of that transformation. It's happy, it's joyous, it's free, and everything's a miracle. Everything is holy. And that's what we get to share with everyone, everywhere, all the time. Isn't that great? What a wonderful path. So we often say there are many paths to peace, or there are many paths to God, and no single path is right for everyone, not even our own. And that's true by a certain perspective. But I would say from a perspective of spiritual evolution that we are all on the same path, the path to peace. However, we all have different means of transportation. That's the different path in manifestation, is our means of transport. Some use meditation, some more than others. Some use prayer, some use activism, some use healthy diet, exercise, whatever your job might be. Healers, I see some healers sitting back there. I see a healer over here. There are many means of transportation on this path to peace. But the path is back to our original state of oneness and peace. And all the religious paths are heading in the same way, same direction. So those many paths are really the same, but many different ways of transportation, of getting there. Your way of getting there is perfect for you. It's absolutely perfect. The reason that there's a different church on every corner, especially in Hyannis, is that there are so many people saying our path or our means of transportation is the best. Right? I'm driving a Cadillac, man. And we're on the right road. So come join us. Right? We've got the goods. No. You've got the goods. You've got the way that's right for you. And you have to discover it yourself. And that's why unity is so challenging for some, because you have to do it. You can't just allow for some guy 2,000 years ago, he did it for you. That's not true. He showed you that the same power and energy that was in him is in you. The same consciousness is in you. You just have to activate it. You're so powerful. here's the frustration I felt. Because since I first became aware of the world, probably about 4 or 5 years old, I knew that all of us would be a lot happier if we loved and respected one another. And yet the adults were constantly trying to teach me the necessity for competition and war, of being part of the privileged ones, of being the ones that got the goods. Right? And they just wipe out the bad guys and we'll find peace. That's what they taught me. If we wipe out the bad guys, we'll find peace. But as I grew older, I asked myself, what if we are the bad guys? Who are the bad guys? Who are the good guys? I couldn't tell. So all that stuff they were teaching me, and it just went totally against my natural tendency to think we can love one another. We really can. So as I evolved, I discovered there really are no good guys and no bad guys. They're just individuals at different stages of their spiritual development. There's no good guys and bad guys. There's just energy. It's vibrating at different frequencies, some more expanded and some more dense. It takes all the judgment out of it. Where am I in my spiritual development? How am I vibrating? How am I extending in the world? What is my vibration here? Wow. Am I extending love? Good. Am I not? Well, let's find out how I can. What's the block and how do I remove that and get on with my spiritual development? It's a whole nother realm of thinking to get out of the good and the bad. Was it Rumi who said out beyond right doing and wrong doing there's a field? Right? All the thoughts of right doing and wrong doing, put them aside. There's a field out there of infinite possibilities. I will meet you there. Beyond your ideas of good and bad, I will meet you in that field of infinite possibilities. And we will, through the direction of Spirit within us, bring more light and more love into this moment, into the world. I love it. So, the important thing to remember is that I can only speed up my own path. My path to peace at this time. That's my responsibility. I can choose to accelerate my journey to peace and prosperity today by focusing on the light, focusing on the joy. That's today's word. I didn't even know that was the word. I love how when my message coincides with the daily word. Focus on the joy, the inherent goodness in everyone. The inherent goodness, that's the second principle of unity. And I can also practice forgiveness. I learned something very important in my study with A Course in Miracles. Is that the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. That's how powerful and how holy and sacred you are. I want to just read the first paragraph of that lesson. How holy are you who have the power to bring peace to every mind? How blessed are you who can learn to recognize the means for letting this be done through you? What purpose could you have that would bring you greater happiness? Bringing peace to every mind. Think about that. You have the power to do that. Bring peace to every mind through your forgiveness or your recognition of the holiness or divinity within every individual. Instead of cursing the manifestation, go back to the cause and the manifestation will change. And also I picked something from the Bible because the Bible tells us to meditate. We often think, oh, well, that has nothing to do. This path has nothing to do with the other, but it's not true. Anyone on a true religious path has some form of prayer or meditation. So Philippians says, meditate on these things. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is just, whatever is of good report. if there's any virtue, or if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you have learned and received and heard and saw in me, says Jesus, do these things. He's not saying I did it for you. He's saying you have to do it. And all of this is focusing on the good, focusing on the miracle, focusing on everything is holy now. And the things, if you do these things, the God of peace will be with you. And so we're all on that path of peace, all of us. Whether we acknowledge it or not, peace, prosperity, and fulfillment are the certain outcomes for all of us. It's just a matter of acceleration, moving slowly, or going faster, more expanded or more dense consciousness and energy. All we have to do is cooperate with the inevitable. Focus on the good. Teach only love. And the peace that you seek will be what you are. You'll become that peace. And then you'll understand that only peace is possible. It's inevitable. And I intend to cooperate with the inevitable. I love you guys.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.